It's not a hint, don't worry, you can carry on afterwards. Okay, thank you for coming back, ladies and gentlemen, for our next part of our meeting. We've already seen the incredible Mr. Rob Brown, and I hope you've learned something from him. You're applying most of the useful tools that he adopts. It's probably difficult to suddenly be Mr. Rob Brown overnight, but he's got several books, and before you go, you'll notice there's a little card there. Please take one, it's got a contact, website details, tells you a little bit more about him. We've only seen half an hour of Rob, and there's a lot more to him than that, so please take that before you go. Okay, so on to our next guests. One could say a double act, and individually though, they don't necessarily need to be together. One could say they are a powerhouse of entertainment and information, and you'll see them in just a couple of minutes before after I introduce them. As a dynamic duo, if you like, they don't wear necessarily, he's got anything strange underpants on, or red capes, but as a dynamic duo, they are fantastic. Dexter, let's talk about Dexter first. I can't talk about both of them simultaneously, because they are two of them. And Dexter, for those who don't recognise him on QVC, is also known as Mr. Christmas, because at Christmas time he's often known for going on television and promoting some of those cheesy, can I say cheesy? Let's face it, Christmas items aren't particularly something you're going to have out throughout the whole year, but that's exactly what he's very well known for. But the last 5 years, which is very key, he's doing something he particularly enjoys. Still doing the QVC, he still trains a number of the presenters on QVC, but he's gone outside that realm of working with people like yourself, businesses, to help them get the message across about how to be standing in front of an audience like myself and other people that come here to present themselves and get that impact. Again, it's a nice follow-on from what Rob's done. So a little bit more about Dexter, and I've written it here a bit. His current business is known as Audience Dynamics, and we have got some handouts, and I hope where my brother is, Alex, he's got them. Have we prepared? Have we got them ready to hand out?
Handouts.
Handouts.
Will be at the end. So
at the end. Okay, so you're not going to give them out now. Okay, that's fine. So a little bit about Audience Dynamics, and I'm going to mention his wife, Fran. She didn't want to be mentioned, but I'm going to mention her name. Both Fran and Dexter are Dale Carnegie trained, and they work very well together. And they always say behind every successful man is a successful woman. And I believe Dexter may not admit it, but she's fantastic.
She's wonderful.
She is. Who said that? One of the things that you're going to hear about Dexter and Marc works together to make this really impact is about 7 keys to perfect presentations. And I'm going to let obviously Dexter explain a bit about it. On to our next guest. Don't need to know that. Mr. Marc Paul. And for those who don't recognise him, I've seen him, of course, on a couple of occasions. I've done some research, and he is somebody you may have seen on Parkinson. I don't know if you've been on there more than once or twice, but he amazed and stunned his audience. And I think Parkinson was also quite amazed by what Marc did. Basically, he's a mind reader, and is voted the world's greatest mind reader. But also, that's not what he does. He's also a magician, but effectively, it's all about getting the message across, and he does it really well. One of the things I was going to tell you about Marc is, well, I think that's probably all I think you need to say. I think I'm going to cut there. There is a lot more to say. We're running out of time, so I'm going to ask you to put your hands together for Marc and me.
I'm always amazed that people clap before they actually know what's going to happen. So thank you very much. Craig, can I first of all thank you for inviting us to this wonderful venue and to create a seminar, to create a workshop, if you like, that dovetails so well. So with what Rob has said before, it dovetails very, very well with what we are going to talk about. So what are we going to talk about? 2 things, first of all. Do you have one of these?
Yeah.
Would you mind just switching it off? And I say switch it off because the vibrations can sometimes influence what Marc will do. So if I can bear with you, otherwise it may disrupt this impact. But can I first ask you to go on a journey with me? If you can imagine an avenue of trees, and the leaves are flowing at you and you're trying to battle them away, but instead of leaves, it's paper, and it's all around you, swirling around your head. What's the normal colour of paper? White. Okay, let me take you on to another scene. and you're skiing down the mountain, and the snow is going in your face, and it's going everywhere in your hair, and it's all this around you. What's the normal colour of snow? What do cows drink? What do cows drink? Isn't it amazing that way we are programmed to take us in a particular direction? We can influence people by our words. And that's what we're going to look at this evening, how to influence. I'm going to use a process. I'm going to acronym you to death tonight. It's called the 7 Magic Keys to Perfect Communication. And we're going to touch this throughout the evening to see whether actually this formula holds up, whether we can create the perfect communication, the perfect framework for any presentation, be it at the front of the room, be it a 30-second pitch at a BNI meeting, whatever we need to use to influence people. So this is going to be it, the personal impact, the emotional connection, the right to talk, the facts, because we all need facts. After we've made our impact, we still need to believe what people are saying about their business and our business, how they can help. Encapsulation. I'm going to dwell a little bit on that. Credibility and the company. Your company and the companies you associate with. Can I offer a proposition to you, which you can either disagree with or agree with, whichever you like. The key to our personal and financial success is our ability to positively influence others. Do we agree with that? Yes. Started well, Mark.
Fantastic.
So that's the process that we're going to look at and see how we work. Now, also, about personal impact is about how to start, first of all. I'm going to reveal this very quickly and then highlight it. Because we're going to explore also how we start a presentation, how we create that initial personal impact. How does Mark do it? Over to you.
Thank you very much, Dexter. You see, Dexter started by talking about snowstorms and paper leaves. It's very different. It's a different way of starting a seminar. Well, my name's Marc Paul, and I'm a magician and a mind reader. Now, when I approach a table, for example, I do close-up magic in some of the larger venues in London, say the Grosvenor House or something like that. There might be 50 tables. And I have to go up to a table and I have to entertain a group of 10 people. They're eating, they're drinking, they're talking to each other. They do not know a magician is in the room to entertain them. So I've got to go in there and I have to have the first of the P of our perfect method of communication. And that is, I have to have personal impact. I have to walk up to that table and I have to be able to impress that group of people in a very short space of time so that I can get my message across, and I can also make sure that they think that I'm worth listening to. Because there's lots of distractions. There's waiters, there's drinks, there's all the food, there's all that stuff. I need to be able to get through to them straight away. What's networking? It's exactly the same situation. You need to have personal impact whenever you're communicating with anyone. Now, I thought I'd show with you exactly how I would get personal impact when I approach a table. So imagine you're out dining, it's a black tie affair or something like that, and here I come up to a table. Hi, my name's Mark, I'm the magician, here to entertain you. Don't look too excited. What's your name? Maggie, pick a card, Maggie, take it, show everyone, but do not show me. So hold it up, okay, everyone can see the card. Okay, show it over to these people here. Put it back into the pack wherever you want, Maggie. It's entirely your choice where it goes in the pack. Now, traditionally, a magician might mix the cards up a little bit. He might even shuffle the cards up. And then ultimately, he would find your card. Well, I'm going to show you the fastest card trick in the world. We're going to take any card, for example, the 7 of diamonds. Watch the 7 of diamonds. Watch the back. Ready? Fastest card trick in the world. 6 of spades, your card. This is actually an illusion, because this is not your card, it's still the 7 of diamonds. It just momentarily looked like your card. Now what you've just witnessed is sleight of hand. You see, a magician can take, say, the 3 of hearts, merely rub it, and it will look like the 5 of diamonds. You can take another card, like the 9 of spades, shake it, it would disappear, come back again, 9 of hearts, right? Actually goes on the back of your hand, but if you're good, you can show the back of your hand, show the front, and produce the card. It's almost like juggling. What you're about to see is not juggling. What you're about to see is the closest thing to real mind reading. Have a look at the cards and just think of one. Okay? It's Janine, isn't it? That wasn't mind reading, that was just reading. Had it going for a moment there. Janine, you're thinking about a card in this pack. Did you see it or did you just think it? Saw it. You're thinking about a black card. Most ladies will go for a black card. Yes. In fact, I think I know what it is. It's probably this one. It might be that one. Possibly this one. But you definitely saw it. One card, you're thinking of the 4 of spades. She's thinking of the 4 of spades. Yes? Yes. Now, she just thought about a card. She didn't pick one. Now, this is much harder to do on a gentleman, okay? I'll prove it to you. Think about another card. Have you got one? Yeah. You're thinking about a card. Again, you didn't pick it out, you're just thinking about it. Now, normally you'd go for a red card, but you didn't. You followed suit, so you went for a black card. Am I right? No. Change your mind, huh? Told you it was more difficult with a gentleman. Maybe this one. Did you see your card in the pack? You sure? Because they're not all here. One card only. I would say the Queen of Diamonds. No. What was it? 8 of Diamonds. Told you it's harder with a gentleman. Did you actually see the 8 of Diamonds in the pack? It's just that there is one card missing. I left it in my pocket. Goodness knows how I picked the 8 of Diamonds. People at the back can be involved as well. Gentleman at the back with his finger on his cheek. Name a card, any card you like, out loud, off the top of your head. Ace of Spades. Oh, Ace, you don't want the Ace of Spades. Everyone names the Ace of Spades. Everyone's a secret Motorhead fan. We know that. So name another card, any card you like. So make it more obtuse, more difficult, more interesting.
6 of Diamonds.
6 of Diamonds. Is there a reason why you said the 6 of Diamonds?
Trying to think of a number.
Very good. Hold your hand out. Put your thumb on top. Okay, somewhere in there is the 6 of Diamonds, but I'm not going to find it. Lady there, give me a small number. 3. Watch. I cast the shadow of my hand over the pack. Okay? If the 3rd card down in the pack, because you said 3, happens to be the, what was it again? 6 of Diamonds. That would be unbelievable, wouldn't it? Because you named any card, you named any number, and I haven't even touched the cards. Francis, I will not touch the cards. Count down to the 3rd card, one at a time. Onto my hand, one at a time. 1, 2, this is the 3rd card. We're looking for the 6 of Diamonds. Show everyone. 6 of Diamonds! Hey, I don't have to be here, really. You can entertain yourselves. Now, that little 5-minute sequence I've been doing for years, and that's how I would open at a table. Now, I've done it so often that, as you can see, it plays for a room of 40 people. Okay? Now, that sequence is very carefully crafted to give me maximum personal impact on the table. In a very short space of time, and in fact, in the first minute, something like 4 magic effects happen. And they're pretty visual, because there's lots of noise, there's things going on. I have to appeal to the visual people first. All right? And Dexter's going to talk to you more about this a little later on. But I then have to draw everyone in. And you'll notice, after a couple of minutes, the pace completely changes. I want to slow everything down to make it more mysterious. Now, I'm using my personal impact to communicate with my audience. And you can learn to do the same. Dexter's going to tell you how.
Thank you very much, Mark. I've seen this so many times, it still amazes me, but there's more to come. Fantastic. So, it's a wonderful trick. It's a wonderful range of tricks. What does that mean to us? Because if it's just tricks, if personal impact is just about tricks, then we might as well leave now, because there is no business message. So may I ask this question of you? How important is personal impact?
Right.
Why is it vital?
Because you're not going to be noticed. You don't make an impact, you don't get the opportunities to build the relationships, to build the trust, to make the conversations that lead to the business and everything else.
Fantastic. So how do you make your own personal impact?
I smile and I try and show interest in the other person.
Yeah. We've heard this before. It's fantastic, isn't it? But when we do smile, I have a phrase which says, if you can't smile, don't open a shop. It's the reality. It's amazing. Colin, would you agree with that? You ran a car dealership for many, many years. If If the customer is not happy to see you, then you've lost that impact immediately. The frightening thing, we talked about QVC, we have 30 seconds to make an initial impact. After that, we spend the rest of the time trying to convince people to our way of thinking to change their opinion. On QVC, we have just 30 seconds to grab people's attention so that they stay with us for the presentation. And then it's only about 2 or 4 minutes. The frightening thing is, for us at the front of the room, is that when we make a presentation, we have your attention for 4 to 7 minutes. Then we have to have a pattern interrupt. Let me explain to you a pattern interrupt. Colin and I had a meeting. I wanted to pitch him an idea of putting, that was lucky, wasn't it? Of putting video on a website. And Francis and I actually did that, didn't we? And I went in to pitch Colin, and I knew as I walked in, how can I create a pattern interrupt so he wasn't thinking, oh my God, he's going to sell me. So he walked down, and I don't know if he remembers this, but he kept me waiting for about 15 minutes in the showroom, which is normally what customers do to us, don't they? It's this psychological thing. And he walked up to me, and I said, I knew I shouldn't have come. He said, what? I said, I'm surrounded by all of this temptation, these wonderful cars. He knew that I actually own a Saab. Do you remember that? That was a pattern interrupt. I could see him visibly go, this man is not going to sell me. He's going to have a conversation with me. Give you another idea. You see we're using a flip chart here. And you see I turned off the slide projector at the back. How many of you use PowerPoint presentations? May I counsel you to restrict it as much as you can? Because if I had left this screen on, where's the center of influence? The screen. Where should it be? You. If you can find a way to use, and statistically, we do need to have some information on slides. If we're giving a factual presentation, if we're talking about cash flow and things like this, yes, we do need to do that. But may I suggest you use flip charts as much as possible? Another idea, as I said, we're going to acronym you to death tonight. Motion creates emotion. When you are physically engaged with people, and that can be one-to-one around a boardroom, certainly at the front of the room, when you are engaged with people in that way, that's when personal impact comes forward. One other idea for you, and I apologize for my accent. I already apologize for doing it. I was working with a major property organization, and this particular guy, a dual Scotsman, spoke very slowly, very positively in this way. And he had to give a presentation to his board of directors. They knew him. So we had to create a pattern interrupt for him. And his presentation was going to be about increasing his fee level by engaging his other partners and directors to help him cross-reference and I can't think of the word, but give him their clients. Lots of people are very protective about their clients. And so what we did, instead of him normally, as he would go, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for coming and visiting me today. I wanted to... I said, what's the whole key of what you need to present to them? He said, fees. I said, what's the fees going to be? He said, £1 million. So he was introduced to the front of the room, and if you are at the front of the room, get people to introduce you. Write the introduction, because that creates personal impact as well. So he was introduced to the front of the room. He stood there, he went, ladies and gentlemen, 2, 3 seconds, nothing said. And he wrote up one figure, 1 million pounds. That's what we're here to talk about, and how you can help me in making that come true. That makes sense? If you can find the way to have a pattern interrupt and use one of these sections which I revealed to you before, that's a number of ways that you can start a presentation. If you heard when I first stood up here, I thanked Craig. I gave him a compliment. Then we talked about, well, I suppose it could be regarded as mysterious or a startling statement about that little trick that we talked about earlier. Quotations, statistics, whatever is comfortable for you, that when you have that impact, That really starts it off well. What happens then is to make an emotional connection. Before I hand over to Mark, let me ask you a question. It's my magic thing. What connects this teddy? Stay there, Teddy, we'll be back in a sec. Box of Quality Street. In fact, it could be any sweets. And in fact, what I will do is I'll give it to you, and if you would take one and hand one on, it always helps to sweeten the audience. Sorry, cheap shot. And a CD. It can be any CD, any kind of music. In fact, it can be even language CD. So what are the things that connect those three items?
Love.
Okay, hold that thought. We'll discuss it afterwards. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you very much, Dexter. Dexter was just talking about pattern interrupts. I am your pattern interrupt. That's why we structure the show as it is. Because if you have people sort of listening to a presentation or involved in a conversation, their attention span is exponential. It will just tail off. Doesn't matter really how interesting it is, it will tail off at some point, okay? So what you're trying to do is you need to try and pique their interest. So you need to pattern interrupt. You need to do different things, okay? And Rob was talking earlier about the right questions. Well, if you've got a really interesting question, then that is going to be a pattern interrupt, okay? So I'm going to talk to you about emotional connection. How do we create that emotional connection? Well, in my line of work, I very swiftly moved away from being a sleight of hand magician to being a mind reader for a very important reason. Mind reading is very personal. And I can create that emotional connection with a person very quickly and very easily. And I'll try and do it now with Gillian. Would you mind doing this? Give Gillian a round of applause as she comes in. Hi Gillian, if you'd like to come over this side. Thank you very much for joining me here. Now, what I'd like to do is a little simple demonstration. Now, first of all, we've never met before, have we? We didn't even chat outside, did we? So you don't even know what's about to happen. Don't worry, it's a perfectly pleasurable experience. For me, no. What I want you to do is to think of someone. Think of someone you have an emotional connection with. This could be a relative or a family member, somebody close to you, somebody who's not in this room. Okay, somebody who I couldn't possibly know about. That's ultimately what it's all about. Now I have a little slip of paper. It's just like an index card, but it has a drawing on it. It has a drawing of a laptop computer. Okay, it's blank, it's just an image, a drawing. I'm going to give you a little visualization exercise. I want you to hold on to that, and I want you to imagine this is the internet to your mind, that you can type in information and up comes a file about this person. So you can see male or female, colour of their hair, how old they are, the relationship you have with them, all of that sort of information. All right, so just do that now just for a moment. Visualize that information on the screen. And what I'd like you to do is to write the person's name in the middle of the screen, okay, as if you typed it in and it come up on the screen large. Okay, full name if you can remember it, but write it in. Now, the important thing is you don't show me, you don't show them, and you don't show the camera that's directly above you. There isn't one, don't worry, it's fine. Just sort of hold it like this and write the person's name in the middle of the screen, but don't let me see it. In fact, I'll look over this way, because I really don't want to see what she's writing. I don't want to be accused of following her handwriting or anything like that. And when you've done so, Julian, can you fold it up with the writing inside so that I can't see what you've written? In fact, no one can. Have you done that? Can I turn around? Okay, you can keep the pencil. It is a marcpaul.com pencil. Cheap advertising, I know. Now look, if I hold that up to the light, you cannot see through it. It's actually an index card. It's made out of card. There's 4 layers there, so you cannot see through it. If I tear it up, I want you to visualize the computer screen in your mind being ripped in two. So not the image that you saw on the card, the one that's in your head. And as I do it again, now somehow the computer screen still works. I've got 4 bits of card, and you've got 4 bits of computer screen. Now somehow the computer still works. You're able to connect that image together. Just hold your hand out for me. And I'm going to ask you to hold on to that, okay? And try and connect with you. Now you have an emotional connection with this person. I want you to put the screen back together in your mind. Put the screen back together in your mind. Just put it back together. Take it apart. Put it back together again.